There's a town in California where you can still buy a house for under $300,000. And no, it's not a shack in the desert or an hour from civilization. It has a real downtown, local markets, even a jazz festival. But here's the weird part. Most people have no idea it exists, and the locals are perfectly happy keeping it that way. Because when you think of retiring in California, you probably imagine beachfront mansions or six-figure property taxes. But the truth is, there are still quiet little towns scattered across the state where you can retire in peace, comfort, and sunshine without going broke. And wait until you see the place that bans all chain stores by law and somehow became a luxury retreat anyway. You won't believe number 3. Chico, California might be the only place where retirees and college students live side by side, and somehow it works. It's a town built around a university, yes, but don't let the backpacks and frisbees fool you. Just beyond the campus crowds, Chico unfolds into leafy neighborhoods, Victorian houses, and one of the largest municipal parks in the country, Bidwell Park. We're talking 3,670 acres of trails, swimming holes, and oak-covered serenity, all tucked inside city limits. Imagine starting your morning with a walk under a canopy of sycamores, grabbing a latte from a local café, then heading to a free outdoor concert where you can sit on the grass and let time slow down. That's Chico. The median home price? Around $380,000. And that includes charming craftsman-style homes with real porches and backyards. It's not dirt cheap, but for California, it's practically a clearance rack find. Add in mild winters, a thriving farmer's market, and a friendly, community-driven vibe, and you've got a retirement recipe that's equal parts cozy and cool. But of course, it's not all park trails and porch swings. Chico has a history with wildfires. The nearby campfire in 2018 brought national attention and a wave of climate-related concern. Summer temperatures regularly crack triple digits, and while the community is resilient, there's an edge of caution that comes with living near forested land. Still, many retirees see that as a trade-off worth making. Nature, affordability, and a small-town feel without total isolation. And if you think Chico is a weird retirement fit, wait until you see the town where the wine flows like water and the houses cost less than Napa's parking spaces. Paso Robles is what happens when Napa Valley gets over itself. This central California town is soaked in sunshine, surrounded by rolling hills and vineyards, and packed with small-town charm that doesn't feel fake or overpolished. Locals call it Paso, and once you visit, you might start doing the same. Retirees come here for the wine, obviously, but they stay for the peace. There are more than 200 wineries within reach, but you'll also find olive groves, lavender farms, and old-school diners where the waitress knows your name and your dog's name. It's like a cozy postcard that just happens to get you a little tipsy by lunchtime. The downtown is walkable and filled with art galleries, tasting rooms, and farm-to-table restaurants that don't charge rent-level prices for a salad. The median home price floats around $675,000, which sounds steep until you remember that Napa's pushing well over $1 million. Paso gives you that wine country lifestyle without the wine country snobbery and without traffic jams made of Teslas. The pace is slow in the best way. Locals still wave, parking is free, and if you play your cards right, your biggest stress will be choosing between Cabernet or Syrah. Now, it's not all smooth sipping. Paso Robles gets hot in the summer, like bake your car seatbelt hot, and it's not exactly a nightlife hotspot. If you're hoping for clubs, late-night sushi, or an endless stream of concerts, you'll be disappointed. But for retirees who want beauty, calm, and community, plus a decent bottle of red, always within reach, Paso delivers. And if you think sipping wine in the hills is retirement goals, wait until you meet the beach town that still feels like 1985 and actually lets you live there without selling a kidney. Oceanside feels like what Southern California used to be before it got turned into an influencer photo shoot. Just north of San Diego, this beach town still has a little grit under its sunscreen. The boardwalk buzzes with surfers, retirees on beach cruisers, and taco shops that haven't changed their prices since the 90s. And that's part of the charm. Oceanside hasn't gone full polished resort. It still feels real, which is exactly why retirees are quietly flocking here. Picture this: morning walks on a pier that stretches nearly 2,000 feet into the Pacific, ocean breezes rolling through open windows, and fish tacos served within 20 feet of the beach. You're not just paying for a house, you're buying into coastal rhythm. The median home price hovers around $775,000, which is actually considered affordable by Southern California standards. And there are still hidden condo deals and 55-plus communities just a few blocks inland where prices dip below $500,000. Oceanside also has something most beach towns don't, a strong military and veteran presence. Thanks to nearby Camp Pendleton, there's solid healthcare infrastructure, a stable economy, and a sense of community that goes beyond surfboards and sunsets. But let's be honest, it's still California. Property taxes aren't gentle, traffic can creep up during tourist season, and you'll occasionally hear grumbling from locals about the area changing too fast. Plus, while it's cheaper than La Jolla or Newport Beach, it's definitely not a hidden gem anymore. Still, Oceanside is one of the last spots on the SoCal coast where you can live near the ocean, join a real community, and enjoy a slice of the dream without going full billionaire. And if you think beach life is good, wait until you meet the mountain town, where Shakespeare, pine trees, and porch swings all come standard. Nevada City feels like someone dropped a charming 1800s gold rush village into the middle of an enchanted forest, and then gave it an espresso machine and a yoga studio. Tucked into the Sierra Nevada foothills, this little mountain town isn't just historic, it's weird in the best way possible. Streets lined with Victorian architecture, art galleries tucked behind vine-covered storefronts, and bookstores that still smell like old paper and incense. One moment you're walking past a saloon from the 1850s. The next you're buying organic chai from someone in dreadlocks and a top hat. It's equal parts Old West and off-the-grid retreat. Retirees here don't come for the golf courses or outlet malls. They come for something softer, peace, pine trees, and a sense of belonging you can't find in big cities. Local festivals bring out fire dancers and fiddle players. Trails wind through quiet woods where the only sounds are wind and birdsong. The air smells like cedar, and the stars, you can actually see them. Median home prices hover around $550,000, but smaller cabins and fixer-uppers can still be found tucked into the hills for less. It's not cheap, but it's magic. But here's the trade-off. You're far from pretty much everything. Big box stores? Nope. Uber? Don't count on it. And if you need a specialist doctor, you'll likely be driving an hour or more to Sacramento. Snow happens in the winter. Fire season is real. And don't expect a fast-paced lifestyle. This town marches to its own slow, quirky beat. But for those who want nature, creativity, and a town that feels like a warm hug from your favorite storybook, Nevada City is unforgettable. And if this place feels too sleepy, the next one offers clean streets, low crime, and a kind of California calm that's surprisingly underrated. Clovis isn't flashy. It doesn't have crashing waves, wine country vineyards, or towering redwoods. But what it does have is something a lot of retirees are secretly looking for: peace, safety, and a no-nonsense lifestyle that doesn't break the bank. Tucked next to Fresno in California's Central Valley, Clovis has been called one of the safest cities in the state, and for good reason. Streets are clean, sidewalks are wide, neighbors say hi. It's like someone took a suburban planner's checklist and actually finished it. The town has a charming Old Town district with cobblestone crosswalks, boutique shops, and seasonal farmers markets where you can still get strawberries that taste like strawberries. And if you're the kind of retiree who wants structure without stress, Clovis delivers. Organized community events, low crime, reliable healthcare options thanks to proximity to major hospitals in Fresno. The median home price? Around $440,000. And that includes plenty of single-story homes with yards, garages, and neighbors who won't throw raggers on a Tuesday night. But here's where the contrast hits. Clovis doesn't scream California. No coastline, no movie stars, no towering pine forests. The summer heat is intense, triple digits are normal, and the scenery? Mostly flat, mostly dry. Still, for many retirees, that's not a deal breaker, because what Clovis lacks in glam, it makes up for in comfort. It's calm, it's affordable, and it doesn't come with the chaos you'll find in coastal cities or overpriced resort towns. Think of it as California's practical side, and for retirees looking to trade flash for function, that's a pretty smart move. But if you're still craving something more dreamy, just wait. The next town has ocean breezes, Spanish-style architecture, and the kind of weather that makes people never leave. San Luis Obispo isn't just a town, it's a feeling. Locals call it SLO, and the name fits perfectly. Life here moves at a relaxed, almost dreamy pace. The sun always seems to be shining. The breezes off the Pacific roll in soft and cool. And there's a farmer's market downtown that feels more like a festival than a chore. Retirees here spend their mornings walking along Mission Plaza, sipping coffee under blooming trees, and their afternoons hiking Bishop Peak or browsing local art galleries. It's no wonder Oprah once called it the happiest city in America. And she wasn't exaggerating. San Luis Obispo has near-perfect weather, a walkable downtown, and a community vibe that's more village than city. The population's just under 50,000, but the lifestyle is big on connection. Local events, book clubs, beach picnics, and early dinners that stretch into sunset. For retirees who want that ideal blend of natural beauty, culture, and comfort, it's hard to beat. Healthcare access is strong, thanks to nearby hospitals and clinics, and crime, low, very low. Now, for the obvious downside, the cost. The median home price in San Luis Obispo is over $900,000, and rentals aren't exactly cheap either. This is the kind of place where charm comes with a hefty price tag. You're also competing with college students from Cal Poly for everything from studio apartments to spots in line at Trader Joe's. And while traffic is mild, parking downtown can feel like a scavenger hunt. But if you can afford it, or don't mind downsizing for peace and perfect weather, San Luis Obispo delivers one of the smoothest retirements in the state. Still, if the price makes you wince, don't worry. The next town has mountain air, Victorian homes, and a price tag that might actually make you smile. Grass Valley feels like a retirement storybook that forgot to advertise itself. Tucked into the Sierra Nevada foothills, this former gold rush town still glimmers. Not with precious metal, but with peace and personality. Picture winding streets lined with antique shops, historic buildings with iron balconies, and quiet mornings where the only sounds are wind chimes and the occasional rooster. It's the kind of place where retirees grow tomatoes in their backyards, chat with baristas who remember their names, and walk their dogs past homes that look like they belong in a Hallmark movie. This town is small, just under 14,000 people, but the sense of community is strong. Locals support local. The theater scene is surprisingly lively, and there's an old-fashioned candy shop that hasn't changed in decades. Median home prices sit comfortably around $475,000, and that includes cozy Victorians, woodsy cabins, and tucked-away cottages with wraparound porches. Retirees looking for nature are in heaven here. The hiking trails are serene, Lake Rollins is nearby for weekend picnics, and Tahoe is just a scenic drive away. But like any mountain town in California, there are trade-offs. Grass Valley's fire season can be stressful, with occasional evacuation alerts and smoky skies during dry months. Healthcare access is decent but limited. Anything major might mean a trip to Sacramento. Winters can get chilly and snow isn't out of the question. And if you're used to 24/7 everything, you'll need to adjust. Many places here close early, and late-night takeout is a fantasy. Still, for those seeking charm, calm, and community in a forest-fringed pocket of California, Grass Valley quietly shines. And if this sounds too old-fashioned, just wait. The next town bans all chain stores, attracts celebrities, and somehow turn that into a luxury lifestyle. Ojai isn't just a town, it's a retreat. The moment you drive into this little valley, something shifts. The air smells like citrus and sage. The mountains blush pink every evening at sunset, what locals call the pink moment. And the silence, it's not empty. It's rich, peaceful, intentional. This is where artists, healers, and yes, a few celebrities have come to disappear from the noise, and somehow in the middle of Southern California, it stayed wonderfully weird. Here's the twist. Ojai bans all corporate chains. No Starbucks, no McDonald's, not even a Target. Everything here is locally owned, from the bookstores to the boutiques to the tiny hand-painted signs on health food cafes. That ban isn't just a rule, it's a philosophy, a commitment to keeping Ojai slow, soulful, and refreshingly human. Retirees here don't just live, they align. Yoga studios outnumber gas stations. Meditation classes are more common than traffic lights. It's the kind of place where you spend your mornings walking orange groves and your afternoons listening to harp music at a farmer's market. But you're not getting all this magic for cheap. The median home price is over $1.2 million, and finding a long-term rental can feel like competing in a spiritual Hunger Games. Utilities, groceries, property taxes, all premium. And while the vibe is deeply serene, it's also a bit exclusive. If you're not into holistic wellness, slow food, or crystal shops, you might feel like you landed on another planet. Still, for those who can afford the lifestyle or simply crave stillness in a world that never shuts up, Ojai delivers something no other town can. Silence that feels sacred. But if that sounds too woo-woo, don't worry. The next town is all sea breezes, harbor views, and a sleepy charm that never tries to impress anyone. Morro Bay feels like the California coast before it got complicated. This sleepy seaside town is best known for one thing: Morro Rock, a massive volcanic plug that rises straight out of the ocean like something from a fantasy novel. But what makes this place unforgettable isn't just the view, it's the stillness. You'll find retirees here, walking the waterfront at sunrise, bundled in fleece, sipping coffee as sea otters bob in the harbor. There's no rush, no noise, no pressure to keep up with anything but the tide. The town itself is small, just under 11,000 people, but it's packed with that perfect blend of nature and neighborliness. Seafood restaurants line the Embarcadero, pelicans patrol the docks, and everything moves at a pace that feels like permission to exhale. The weather is mild year-round. The fog rolls in gently most mornings and clears just in time for an afternoon stroll on the sand. And unlike more famous beach towns, you won't be dodging influencers or fighting for parking next to a Bentley. The median home price is around $750,000. Not cheap, but far more accessible than nearby Pismo or Monterey. There are also some great condo options in quiet neighborhoods filled with single-story homes perfect for downsizing. But this kind of peace comes with a few quirks. The town's infrastructure is aging, internet speeds aren't blazing, and while healthcare access is decent, for anything major you'll likely be heading to San Luis Obispo. Morro Bay is also not the place for nightlife, unless you count stargazing from your patio as a party. Still, for retirees who dream of coastal calm, morning fog, and harbor walks with zero drama, Morro Bay delivers. And if you think this is the pinnacle of peaceful, wait until the next town, where the wine's local, the weather's golden, and the real surprise is just how much value you get for the zip code. Temecula might be the best California retirement town nobody talks about, and that's exactly why it works. Sitting quietly between San Diego and Palm Springs, this inland valley town has somehow flown under the radar while offering retirees the kind of life most think is only possible with a seven-figure budget. Picture warm golden hills, miles of vineyards, and hot air balloons drifting lazily across the sky at sunrise. This isn't just a wine town, it's a lifestyle town, and retirees are catching on. The local vibe is upbeat but not chaotic. You'll find farmers markets bursting with citrus, olive oil tastings at roadside ranches, and community events where you're more likely to meet a retired firefighter than a TikTok influencer. And here's the big reveal. The median home price is around $625,000, a relative bargain for Southern California, especially when you consider what that gets you. Spacious single-story homes, safe, clean neighborhoods, and views that look like a screensaver on your living room window. Healthcare: Temecula is solid, with multiple hospitals and clinics nearby. It also has a large senior population. So many services and social groups are designed with retirees in mind. The weather is hot, especially in the summer. Triple digits aren't rare. But the air is dry, the nights are cool, and you're just a short drive from beaches or mountain escapes. Downsides? The town is growing fast. Traffic is creeping in, and parts of it feel like suburban sprawl on steroids. But for those looking to stretch their retirement dollars without sacrificing sunshine, safety, or scenery, Temecula checks all the boxes. And if you thought that was the end of the list, think again, because in our next video, we're heading beyond California to explore the town that actually pays retirees to move in, with one wild catch. So which of these towns would you retire in? The beachside calm of Morro Bay or the wine-soaked sunshine of Temecula? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you found a hidden gem we missed, share it before it becomes the next Ojai. Hit like and subscribe if you think peaceful, affordable California towns still deserve a spot on the map.